Howard Shy wait, come to take the throne. To conquer world powers, bring Jacob home. I'm quarterbacking like Jake Delhomme. Like Mount Rushmore, I gotta face a stone.
All right, first and foremost, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 30. I went by the field of the slothful, by the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
Read on.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof.
So what does that look like? That's like an abandoned house, right? Anybody been in an abandoned house? No, ain't nobody there to keep it. So all kind of whatever's growing in there, right? Read on.
And the stone wall thereof was broken down. You said from 30 to 32.
34.
30, okay, verse 32. Then I saw and considered it well.
Then I saw. You see, he saw this and thought about it. Read.
And looked upon it and received instruction.
And looked upon it and received instruction, meaning he reasoned within his own mind. Who's there? Is somebody there telling this man instruction? No, he's looking at it and saying, okay, how do I stop this from happening to my home? Right? Read on.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep.
Read.
So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man.
You see that? So like it. Now it says man of shield also for as an armed man in the notes. So this slothfulness is how his house came to waste. So what does that let you know? Not to be slothful, to be active, right? But when we take a look at just simply on the level of upkeeping your house, majority of us have that understanding. You're not just going to let your house go to waste if you got any sense. So you have to start looking at it and not just literally meaning your crib. We are a spiritual house as a nation. So when you look out and you see your people that's destitute, destroyed for lack of knowledge, as it says in Hosea, and all of that, you have to understand that this comes from the slothfulness of the leaders of our people. You see what I'm saying? Them not being diligent in having us keep the commandments. So because of that, we're destroyed as a people. So because we're destroyed as a people, we look the way we look. So how do we fix that? By not being slothful, by picking up slack. You understand what I'm saying? That's how we prevent that from happening to our people. That's how we rectify the situation that our people are at this current state. All right. And that's what, what we did down there in Florida, and what we organizing to do amongst different brothers in different camps all across the world is not being slothful in putting a diligent foot forward in building our people and helping our people out as the Most High commanded. Precept cap.
Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant.
You see that? His watchmen are blind. They're all ignorant. Everybody who has charge over our people is blind and ignorant. They haven't given our people any positive thing. When we think about what's happening in what we get taught in the churches, a lot of our people don't even listen to the church anymore, because Esau has implanted enough satanic doctrine in them churches to where you've basically been told by your church your whole life you don't have to listen to the church. You don't have to go to church. There's no rules you have to follow. Whether they say it or not, of course, they want you to tithe and come in there every week and give your money. But in truth, what they're teaching you isn't to do any of that. They're teaching you just do whatever you want to do. It's everything you do is cool. You're going to be forgiven, and Caesar Borgia is going to save you and seal you in the last days, no matter what you do. So why do I have to come to church, and why do I got to pay you tithes if I know no matter what I do, I'm cool anyway because I done got in a hot tub with you and you didn't try to drown me? You see what I'm saying? That happens, and now I'm good. All right, this is what you've taught me. So why would I follow anything you have to say? You already told me I got a get out of jail free card. And he's sweet, sweet, sweet white Jesus. I got to get out of jail free card. So of course our people is not going to get into that. But the watchmen are blind. So they then impart that blindness and take away the sight of the rest of our people. Read on.
They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark.
They cannot bark. Read on.
Sleeping, lying down.
Ooh, go ahead.
To slumber.
They love to slumber. They love to sit down. You see what I'm saying? That's all they love. They love being asleep and letting our house go to waste, which is our people. They love waking up and seeing whores of our nation, homosexuals of our nation, all of that. They love it because if they didn't love it, they would do something about it because they have the power to do something about it. People are going to listen to them when they talk. You see, we listen when you told us we could do whatever the hell we want if we get in that bathtub with you. We all listened to that and we all did it. So you mean to tell me that you couldn't change the message and the people still listen? You have their ears. That 90-year-old woman who's been at your church the last 70 years, every Sunday tithing to you, she's going to listen to whatever you got to say. Because anytime, let any of us have a conversation with our grandmothers, and she's going to say, well, you need to talk to my pastor. My pastor said that, all things are clean with if you accept it with Thanksgiving. Son, eat that pork. Every one of our grandmothers is going to tell us that right now. And why? Because somebody told that to her. She didn't read that in the word nowhere. You know what's funny? You have a Christian, they'll tell you go to Acts the 10th chapter, and that means you can eat whatever you want. But then you'll say, well, wait a minute, Acts the 10th chapter ain't talking about food, it's talking about people. And they won't argue with you that Acts the 10th chapter is using unclean beasts allegorically to refer to people. They won't argue with you that. So then how can you then, knowing that, responsibly go there and tell me it has to do with unclean animals are cool to ingest? How can you do that? You got to be evil as hell, because you know you are purposely twisting the meaning of that scripture on purpose. That's if you know what that scripture is talking about, and you know that was a vision that came upon this man for this allotted period of time to teach these certain people, then how can you tell me that has anything to do with eating unclean food? And you be honestly, you care about my salvation. You're a liar. You see what I'm saying? Then somebody will go to in the Gospels, who the world calls Christ, when he says it's not what goeth in to a man that makes him unclean, but what cometh out. Now, what was the whole context of that conversation? Washing his hands. It wasn't about your disciples eateth the swine. Y'all don't wash your hands. That was not no context of unclean, a beast deemed Levitically unclean, right? But then they'll go there to tell you that. You're being irresponsible again. You're being neglectful again, because that is totally outside of the context of what's being discussed there. So as you see, they admit to you they are full of it, totally. You see what I'm saying? But what the references they try to give you to justify their sin and the evil that they perpetuate. But we all listen to them, and all our grandparents and our parents and everybody listened to them and what they had to say. So they could just as easily have told us to do the right thing. They had our ears, they had our attention. The black church, it was the heart of the black community in this country up until when? Recently? I mean, the heart, the institution of the black community in America is the church. Soon as slavery ended, there came the church. So that's what black people have in this country. That's it. When you read, I got a book, one of my relatives is the head of African American religious studies at Princeton, right? He wrote a book, it's called Exodus, and it's likening the story of the Exodus in the scriptures to black plight in America. And so, showing the innumerable parallels between the two stories, of course, of us being those people. I don't know if he knows that or not, but if you read that story, you mean to tell me, I mean, these got to be the same people, all the same stuff happened. But it is what it is. But he goes through the parallels and he outlines how through the black church, this is how we began to get political power and clout. The only way we're able to get anywhere in this country in its infancy, or in our infancy and coming into being quote unquote free in this country, was through the church. That's how we got on. That's the only way we got in power, was through the church. That's why every prominent black man is a reverend. Over Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King. These are all church guys. You see what I'm saying? All of them. That's the only way that we can get on, or we could get on. Now it's a little different because the church is dead now. You know what I mean? A lot of our people are up into Christianity, but they're phasing Christianity out on purpose. This has been a goal of these people for some time. Eventually to phase Christianity out, because it was never really their stuff anyway. They kind of inherited it. They got into it, and you know about the history of the Dark Ages. Our people was up in there and created this madness, and it came back to who got Ecclesiastes? Give me Ecclesiastes. What is that? 11:1. I need. Speaking about the bread and the water. It is 11:1. Give me that, please. We created this evil system of Roman Catholicism. When you look at the Nicaea Council, it's all black faces up in there. So we did wrong in that instance and created Roman Catholicism and try to merge certain aspects of our culture with the various pagan ideologies of Europe. So when we did that, we created a system that they talk about of religious oppression and all this. This was us, right? And the white man was able to infiltrate that, of course, because it was a flawed system. It was evil. So of course the Most High gonna let us be taken down. And we're not ruling with the law. We're ruling with some evil invention of men. So when we do that, the white man, the only way he can get into power now is through infiltrating the system that we have designed to control Europe at the time, right? So when that happens, now the white man has to turn into a Christian. You see what I'm saying? Which Christianity is evil, but Christianity still upholds certain morals that the white man just can't uphold. Why is every Catholic priest a damn child molester? You see what I'm saying? Roman Catholicism, according to its teachings, that's wrong, right? But all of these guys are into it. It's against their genetic code that's in them, that's against nature, to even have even those minimalistic morals that you find in Roman Catholicism. So that's why they struggle with it now. So they're trying to phase the church out. You got that from me? Before I get off that topic, go ahead.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 1. Cast thy bread upon the waters.
So it says, cast thy bread among the waters. Our bread is this word. This is our bread, right? So it said, cast thy bread amongst the waters. Why? Read.
For thou shalt find it after many days.
After many days. And this is why we have the Bible today. How did the white man mess around and leave us this? How are you able to go into the Dollar Tree for $1 and pick your history book up? The white man messed up. But it was through a series of our mess ups that ultimately were for our advantage. Cast our bread amongst the waters. We go amongst these peoples of the earth and we taught them some form or another of something that comes from us and is for us, right? That's what you see with the Christian church, starting with Roman Catholicism. It was enough of about us, and the book came there to spread throughout the whole world, to where now in these last days, Nat Turner is able to open it and say, I know what this is talking about. This is talking about us. You see what I'm saying? We cast it, we gave it to the whole world, something that was ours. We let everybody come and take it, get a little piece of it, create their little religion of it, think they're a part of it, only so we can get it and say, whole time this is talking about us. Now what do we read Deuteronomy 28:68 say? By George, I found it. This ain't nothing to do with y'all. This is our book. You see what I'm saying? So we're able to do that now because they messed up. But it was all ultimately the divine design of the Most High Yahweh. So going back though, they phasing the church out now. The church is never what they really wanted. They want to devalue the morals of everybody. That's why they've done it through media. You know, slowly and slowly. Girls wearing less clothes, more sexually, what's the word I'm looking for? Provocative things seen on TV and in media. Homosexuality pushed out. Now we got this transism nonsense. I'm in the airport, so like I'm in the airport in Fort Lauderdale for to come back home from Florida. I see them. This is a gender neutral bathroom. You see what I'm saying? We got to deal with the gender neutral bathroom now. You see what I'm saying? They've been getting you ready for it. There's no Christianity. Even Christianity disagree with that, right? So, but they're phasing that out. Now it's just this liberalism and this freeism and live your truth and all pass to God. All of that came with that. And they phasing the church out. So now you ain't got to be, now you got to be a rap star. That's how you get on now if you're one of our people. And what does a rap star promote? The whole agenda. Lesbianism. You want girls to kiss girls. You want to be on every damn prescription drug known to man. Xanax, Oxycontin, what's that other? Molly. What's this other stuff they on? Who knows? Of course, the cough syrup, the prescription cough syrup they on. Then you know the syrup. They pushing all that out. We're gonna push that out, and we're gonna turn the masses of the people into a drug-induced zombies who have no morality. Girls kissing girls, real sisters, all these songs. You had some songs.
Some rappers wear dresses now.
Young Thug and other guys. He's not alone. Pink Dreads, all this stuff. See, this is how they demoralize. They said they're going to use media. There's a 10-point plan. You have Alice Bailey. Who in the room has heard of Alice Bailey before? Alice A. Bailey. Alice Bailey is one of Adolf Hitler's instructors. You got 3 individuals who was top in occultism. Alice A. Blavatsky and Aleister Crowley. I assume everybody heard of Aleister Crowley before, at least. Aleister Crowley got put on by Blavatsky and Bailey. These are two white women who put Crowley to shame. You see what I'm saying? With their evil and the wickedness. They taught him. So Alice A. Bailey laid out a 10-point plan. And she said, in this 10-point plan, this is how we're going to turn the world into what we've always wanted it. And one of the main things they want to do is they say, we're going to take off the Christian veneer or mask. They're going to take it off. They felt like they've been forced to pretend to be Christians when they are really something else, which of course, Christianity is pegging it off anyway, but even that is a front for them. They so evil and wicked that even something evil and wicked is a front for them to appear less evil and wicked. You see what I'm saying? So they just been phasing it out. And one of the main ways is through demoralizing everybody through media, through music, through all the arts. And their end goal is for everybody to be okay doing whatever makes them feel good. That nobody is tied to any one individual. Like no woman is just, she ain't got to be the wife to any one man. If she want to have sex with any man, any woman, any child, any animal, at any time, she should be allowed to do that without any judge. These are the goals of these people. Because this is how, I mean, let's be honest, this is how the white man is. This is who he is. He was in the caves doing God knows what. With God knows what. You see what I'm saying? That's who he is. So he wants to be able to be who he is. In Germany, you got you have sheep brothels in Germany, where these white men in Germany go into the woods, and there's just a bunch of sheep there for them to get with. Give me Hebrews 12:16. Just a bunch of sheep there for them to get with. And the German government said they're gonna ban those things. Don't you know the white man was in an uproar? White man was outraged. Like, they doing a no ban protest everywhere. The Muslims is in an uproar that Trump ain't letting nobody travel. White man was out there like that. He was enraged when the government says, no, you can't have sex with the sheep. White men can't take nothing like that. And now this pedophilia stuff is coming up where they say, oh, the gays got it, the trans got it, now the pedos is trying to get it. You see what I'm saying? This is a very disgusting. Every day I'm reminded how disgusting of a place I live in and how bad we need to get up out of here. Give me that in Hebrews. And then somebody give me Micah, please. Give me Micah, what is that, Micah 2:10? Give me that, Sarge.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16. Mm-hmm. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person.
Fornicator, unlawful sex, profanity outside of the temple, read.
It says as Esau.
As Esau. I mean, man. And then when you take a look at this white man, you take a look at what he does and what he's into, that scripture hit it on the head.
God.
Who's worse than this guy? Who does worse than this guy? Who's more of a pedophile and a homo and what they call a zoophile, or somebody who partakes in bestiality? Who does that like this guy does? I ain't seen nobody, right? Most nations got enough sense to say, I'm not going to just sleep with no little kids, or I'm not going to have sex with an animal. That's crazy, right? Go ahead.
It says, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
For one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Just doesn't even value what he has, being given a birthright of the firstborn. But it was all set up. That's why the angel Most High sent the angel to his mother.
Right.
Right? He knew Isaac was going to have an affinity to this child, right? So he said, I'm going to go to the mom. She's going to have an affinity towards the younger. And through her, we're going to get done what we need to get done towards Isaac's last days, which was, he put on a garment. We know the hairy garment. We know the story, right? That's it on that. Give me that in Micah 2:10.
God. Book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
This is not our place to get into this. You know what I mean? We're here, of course. You know what I mean? By all means, we're here. But this is not our rest. Read on.
Right. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you.
This place will destroy you because of its spiritual pollutants. It will, and not to mention it's polluted, it'll physically destroy you. You wake up in the morning having respiratory issues because of all the damn smog in the air, right? But on a spiritual level, it's polluted, and it will totally destroy you. Falling in love with this place and its ways, it'll destroy you because there's nothing good about it. You go to work, Some brothers go to work, they just have a smile on their face. They get to work. Then you get to work and there's some sodomite that's your manager at work. Now you got to take orders from this sicko. You see what I'm saying? That right there should let you know I can't. This place ain't for me. You see what I'm saying? This ain't my place where I got to take orders from some homo. You see what I'm saying? That's not what I'm into. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's clear. Go ahead.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
The brother spoke about them not valuing what they had, like their forefather Esau giving up his birthright. The brother just spoke about you catching secondhand smoke, your lungs is being, tore by the pollution in the air, but this is the same air that they breathing. What's your boy, that Rothschild that just got didn't he get his 56?
Evelyn, something like that,
He
yeah.
just got his 56 heart transplant.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Just all based off of you polluting the earth that you have control of.
Some 19-year-old black man heart that's up in him,
Right. So that's them not valuing, what they have. They had clean air, they had everything that they needed to be able to sustain life, and they just let that go. You know what I mean? If they do that and destroy their own selves. That's why you can't trust them.
That water, man, I was down there in Florida. I thought the water out here was bad. I'm down there in Florida. I'm looking at that water. Man, you go to use the restroom, you think somebody done pissed and didn't flush the toilet. That's how the water looked on its own. Water damn near yellow. And they're going to have a warning up talking about don't be alarmed. Those are natural things in the water and they're not harmful to you. And I'm gonna just take your word for it, right? Because you never did nothing. You ain't never lied to me before. You know what I'm saying? Never. Y'all didn't feed our babies to alligators in the same state. No, that didn't happen. Crazy. This is the world we live in. You walk into the store, you go into the apartments you live in here in California. They got, what is that, 65 or whatever? There are cancer-causing elements in this product, or there are cancer-causing elements in this area, and I gotta live here. But whatever it is, whatever type of cancer-causing stuff is going on that's in this product or that's in this area is so bad that the state has mandated that you have to warn me visibly, and I have to be able to see that that's there. But I'm supposed to live here, and it's supposed to be cool. And guess where that's at? The white man don't deal with that where he live at. You think the white man walking up in his high-rise condo and it's that warning there? Hell no. But you got to deal with that at your Section 8 house or your regular house that you're paying way more than you should for. Your $1,400 one bedroom, that's got roaches in it. $1,400, I got to deal with roaches and cancer-causing material all in the air I breathe. Right? This place is polluted. It's not. And then they flying 20 chemtrails over your hood a day. But I this is America's the place for me. I'm an American. Remember that brother we were talking to before camp a couple weeks ago? I said, he said, our country, my country, it protects Israel. I said, what is this, my country you talking about? Well, what makes you think this place is yours? Well, my tax dollar. Oh, God. You kidding me? You know what we did? You know what the Jews did when they came with a tax? A riot. Okay, that's what happened. God. Why you think 70 AD happened? We was rioting because we didn't want to pay no taxes. Go to Torah, show me taxes in the Torah. We didn't have no taxes. You know what we had? We had something called tithes. Okay, and it made sense. The Most High said, look, 10% of what you got, give to the priests. And they're going to do what they got to do. Because they ain't got no time to be working in the field like you working. They got to minister in the temple. So they're going to be, you said what? Well, they gave tithes of their crops. You see what I'm saying? They gave tithe, their crops, or they would liquidate their crops and bring the cash to the temple. You see what I'm saying? Because they can't keep it so much in the storehouse of actual tangible crops and things like that. So they would liquidate their crops also and give cash. You see what I'm saying? And that cash would stay in the storehouse. That's why we had something called the temple shekel. That's how we measured our currency in Israel. Whatever was in the storehouse that the priests had, be it crops and gold. Every shekel was measured by the value of it. That was our standard. Like America used to have a gold standard. Now it's all just promissory debt, whatever. Ain't no gold in Fort Knox. We had gold in the temple. We had also the vessels of the Lord in the temple that was made of gold. And they also had a stockpile of crops. And that's how we would measure that. But then also, what would the priests do? The widows, the fatherless, the strangers, they would also eat from what the priest got as well. So no matter what, it's not. See, and what's the average tax bracket now? What are they taking? 20-something% from the average citizen. What does it start at? 15? I know you said what?
It's up there.
It's up there. I know it can't exceed like 38 or something like that, right? Can't exceed 38%. But to the Most High, he just said, look, it's going to be one flat rate for everybody's on a curve. 10%. If you didn't get but so much crop, that's cool. I just need 10% of it. If you got an abundance, that's cool. We just need 10% of it. And that 10% is going to go to what it needs to go to. It's not going to go to anything crazy. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to go to somebody's jet, you know what I mean? Some politician's jet or anything stupid like that. This is how the Most High had our system set up. So when the Roman come in talking about some taxes, we looking like, what the hell do you mean a tax? I don't know nothing about no tax. I know something about tithes. But then look, we still had the priesthood at that time. So what does that mean? You paying tithes and you paying taxes. Come on, man. We ain't never heard of nothing like that in our life. And then a lot of the priesthood towards the end got corrupt. So who knows what type of tithes that they was imposed? They might have been asking triple tithes from you. You see what I'm saying? Who knows? Yeah, we need 30% this year. It's looking bad. We need 30% out of you. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, we never heard about it. So that's why we always rebelled. Shalom, man. That's why we always rebelled at that time. So dudes talking about my tax dollars and talking about with this great American pride. Don't you know that's something that we resented? You see what I'm saying? This is why we got to get back to who we are. You see what I'm saying? But Yahushua taught us a very valuable lesson when he said, render unto Caesar what is his. That's the white man's dollar bill. His fake money that he printed up. His face is on it. Give him his taxes out of it. Who gives a damn? That's his damn money. It ain't worth nothing anyway. The Most High said, what? That unjust weight is an abomination. Right. That dollar is an unjust weight. Because what a dollar is literally a measurement of gold. That's called a dollar. That's not a dollar. That's a piece of paper that says a dollar, but that ain't no dollar. And the value of that is predicated upon people's willingness to receive it as a debt note. If we all stop wanting to take that, it would lose its value and vanish. Right. But because we all accept it, it is what it is. But like the Most High said, that's an abomination. That dollar is an abomination to the Most High. What he gonna do with that dollar? He gave you gold on earth. You know, he gave you food. You see what I'm saying? Stuff you really could eat. You bring your crops to the temple. I could use those crops. I could eat those. You see what I'm saying? We could do something with it, right? What the hell you gonna do with that piece of paper?
You can do a lot with gold and silver. You know what I'm saying? You can purify something. You can even eat it.
You can eat it. You can purify yourself with it, right? Yeah. What that piece of paper gonna do? You see what I'm saying? Not gonna do nothing. So this whole place, just going into it, this whole place is totally polluted. This is not this is not. And then see, it's cold because that's what I was going up into with the movie Mississippi Dam that I watched. And you seeing the struggle, you know, of within our households. And the cold thing is, we are brought into a place. We're brought into America. The white man knew we were going to fail here. He knew it because the way that they have set this whole society up is so different than we are used to living. When you read in the scriptures about how we lived, it was nothing like this. You, as an Israelite man, you have a tribe, you have a family, you have an inheritance. You don't live in a project building. You live in your own land with your own family. That's yours. You're born into that because when our forefathers came out of Egypt, during the time of Joshua, we conquered that land from them Canaanites and we all got an allotment. So you born into land. In this place, you ain't born into no land. You ain't born with no inheritance. You ain't none of that. We living on top of each other. That in and of itself, we're not supposed to be living on top of each other. Scriptures say what? Woe unto thee that build house to house. You had your own land. You had your own crib on your own land, and the next brother was miles away. You gonna get with your brother and all that, but when it's time to go home, you're gonna go home. You see what I'm saying? And do your own thing. Esau knew damn good and well we weren't gonna be able to function like this, right? You gotta go and find a job. You didn't have to go and find a job. You had a job. It's called your land. That's your job. You're going to till your land. You're going to do what you need to do and build your house up and yield your crops. You see what I'm saying? You had a job guaranteed, and that was to build yourself up. Now we got to go to somebody else's job, to somebody else's company, and beg them for a job, and then they give you a job and they bring you in on a probationary basis. Right. Now you walking on eggshells trying to please this white man. Meanwhile, you doing the groundwork. You breaking your back for his empire to be built. And then you go back home and you live in check to check.
Then they take money out your check.
Then they taking money out your check, right? He knew. Salaki, go ahead.
I'm saying, then look what happens if you don't pay your tax.
Then they come and you go to jail. Wesley, you see how they got Wesley, but he knew that we have never functioned. We have never lived like this ever in history. This is totally adverse. When we got chased out of Israel and we went into Africa, we built up kingdoms in Africa. We weren't living like that in Africa. The white man brought us here and said, okay, we're going to let them off the plantation, but we're going to give them a setup that's so adverse to them, they're not going to know what to do. Like, what's that saying they got? You know, they'll say that we like crabs in a bucket. But somebody said, well, is a crab natural habitat a bucket? Of course not. So if we're not in our natural habitat, how are we supposed to? We're not going to function correctly. Even like I went to the zoo. I took my daughter to the zoo last year, and I seen the lions. I seen the lions and I seen the gorillas in captivity, and I seen how depressed they was. And I mean, they're just sitting around like, man, like they can't even believe it. And some of these animals they weren't captured and brought to captivity. They were born in captivity, but it's still just again, their spirit is still broken being there. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we are. We like this. I'm used to having a whole jungle to do what I wanted, having my women, having my children, and having my own domain. You know what I mean? And don't nobody come up in this domain. Now you get told what to do by something that you can, on a physical level, kill. You see what I'm saying? On a physical level, the average man, I remember when I was in the county, man, I'm looking at these sheriffs, I'm like, man, they done gave these dudes badges and guns. Take off that badge and gun, and it's over. It's gonna be over. But you have to listen to this guy tell you what to do. Imagine how the lion and the gorilla feel. I can maul your face off, but you tell me when I can eat and what to do. That's depressing. And that's our life in America. Totally depressing, and we're in captivity. It's horrible.
Sakari.
We are the children of the one Yahweh.
The chosen.
Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given his laws to us. Now everything belongs to us.
Shalom, what's going on? It's your brother, Chief Priest Alazar Lawyer, aka the Gorilla Hebrew, and I'm just letting y'all know I just dropped my official clothing line, Urban Gorilla. Go to urbangorilla.com right now to check us out, man, and pick something up. There's urbngrla.com. We got all kind of items for men, women, children, even infants, as well as fragrance oil, smell goods. You can also check out Hebrew Israelite Clothing Co., another Sakari business, on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can hit up deaconsakari.com to get your plug on the scarves, the music, and the children's Bibles. Thanks for your time. All praise to the Most High. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.